Good morning, everybody. I'm reading the weather report. I see that there's a little bit of rain, and then in Southampton there is dry weather. So stay warm, stay dry. I'm Mary Ellen from LearnBridge Online. I'm here to introduce Jack, and we are all the Improvers class right here, starting shortly. I'm here to hopefully, if you have any trouble with your computer, you can't hear or see something, you can communicate with me and I'll fix that problem. A couple of little things to reiterate. Try to refresh your screen if you see some static. Also, you can navigate back to the link that we sent you this morning. Also, you can shut off the computer, start again, or last but not least, send me a text using that we did to the bottom left of your screen, and I'll send you a new link and get you set up right away. Thank you for being here. You're part of the live session. I see everyone logging in. That's wonderful. I'm going to record the session and then you can all replay this in the Learning Library. Let me start that recorder and bring Jack into the classroom. Takes a minute.
Morning. Morning.
How are you today?
Well, I think I'm on good form, but you know, the class members might feel differently in an hour's time.
Yes, you had your beginners introductory session just before this.
Correct. Yes, we just finished half an hour ago, and they all seem like a nice group.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were teaching them a one no trump opening today.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what is today about?
Today, well, in this class, very important, Mary, tricky opening leads against trump contracts.
Opening leads.
So
you know, people don't think about that as much.
Yes, and no, it's really important, the opening lead. It will often determine whether the contract makes or not. And also sharpening our defensive skills at the same time.
All right. Well, I'll run away and you get at it there. I'll see you later.
You'll pay attention. I'm sure she will. She's a good student, Marielle. And now, good morning, everyone. Let's just press the one or two buttons. There we go. Hello, if you're watching in replay. It could be afternoon or evening, of course, or the weekend for you. Let's have a look where we are. We're here. Let's get straight down to business, shall I? It's 11:02 UK time. I think most of us are in the classroom live who are there. Let's get started. Well, you all know this. We'll breathe through this fairly quickly. Jack's favorite lead is ace from ace king, because you can have a free look at dummy. That's why. Lay down the ace. It's not going to get trumped. You can look at the dummy. So we look at leads really in terms of the good. Well, we'll see what they are, but start off with the good. And there's someone who's very good, of course, Major Tom. Singleton comes behind Jack's favorite, ace from ace king, almost as good. But yeah, it speaks for itself. Even if it's an opponent's suit, a singleton is often a good lead. Yeah, most often, yeah. For obvious reasons. Partner's suit's probably about third in the pecking order. In no trumps, partner's suit's number one. Yeah, partner's bidder suit lead it. Or otherwise, woe betide you. They might get upset with you, or they wouldn't ever show it because they're too polite. Caroline's got a question. Singleton trump's a really bad lead, Caroline. I think we're going to come on to that later. But no, avoid singleton trump. But we'll talk about that a bit later. Good question there. Lead partner suit, but lead a low card from an honor. If you've got king 9-2, lead a low one. Remember, it's low for like, high for hate. So a low from an honor. But if you've got a doubleton, of course, it's always high-low in bridge. So if your leading partner's suit, which was hearts, you'd lead the queen from queen 9. Top of sequence are very good leads. Yep, just need to have two in a row, don't you? King, queen, queen, jack, jack 10, etc. Goes down as far as the 10. Doesn't go down to the 9 or the 8. So the 10 is an honor card, remember. We're going through these relatively quickly because these are relatively easy. let's go straight on to hand one. So as I said earlier, we are sharpening our defensive skills with the opening lead. So, I'm sure you'll all open 2 spades. I'll even alert it. Yes, it would have to be Queen 10-9 though, Les. Yes. Queen 10 is not touching, you lead 4th highest. If it's Queen 10-9, Les, you can lead the 10, promising the 9. Remember, the honour has to promise the one below it. What do we bid with the North hand over? Week 2 opener, 5 to 10 points. 7, 10, 13, 16 points. What's our best bid there, do you think? £16 points. Funnily enough, we are doing a morning, Phil. Morning, Stuart. They're both from Harrogate. Caroline, Annie, Tiggy is in Scotland. Actually, we're doing a review on week 2. It's next week. I think that could be rather timely, looking at most of your answers, because you only bid to the level of the fit. 3 spades with 0 to 14. Here, there's a chance of game. I'll give you a get out of jail free card quite early on, because our prison is overcrowded. Our bridge prison, should I say. And I'm not letting out those who've committed really bad bridge offences either. Not letting them out early. Leading from an ace, overcalling on a 4-card suit, yeah. How can we ask partner about our range though? Because we could have game on here. Remember that 2-spade range is 5 to 10. What's the inquiry bid, everyone? You're allowed to change your answer. Because level of the fit is 0 to 14 inclusive. 15 to 17, we do something else. Oh, great, Jane, you managed to get in. I walked past your office, Jane, the other day in Harrogate. I looked up and saw Duggleby. I thought, oh, I know that name. It's where near I live. It's 2 no trumps. I'll alert it. Yes, 15 to 17. Inquiry bid, isn't it? We are reviewing week 2's next week, so I think that'll be quite a timely lesson for you. 15 to 17, artificial. So if you did it at the bridge table, it's artificial, Lorna. It does not, I repeat, not say you want to play in 2 no trumps. It's asking about the range. So at the bridge, if you're playing at face-to-face, the 2-spade person would alert it in your bridge club. Okay, the person opposite alerts face-to-face. No, Sarah could be balanced or unbalanced. Okay, it's an inquiry bit. Do you remember, everyone, what the response is with South 6 points? Morning, Lorna, Sarah M, Jenny, Patty Riggs on board. Your partner should alert all artificial bids, Lorna. If they forget, it's not the end of the world, but someone might call the director on you. Depends how friendly your bridge club is. But you should alert things, because it's good to tell the opposition that you're doing something funny. All unnatural bids, Lorna, are alertable. Just like at the table, if I opened a week 2, you would announce it to the table as my partner. Same with transfers. Yes, 3 spades here. Not necessarily, Caroline, no. North might have a singleton spade, but it's just asking about the range. So this 3-spade response is the weaker range. 5 to 7 points. That's it. Minimum. 5 to 7. So what does North do now? If anything, with their 16? So repeating the suit, everyone, is minimum week 2 opener, 5 to 7 points. If you have 8 to 10, you do something different, which we'll look at next week. Misty, Eileen, Trish, you're all passing. Correct. Yeah, with a minimum point count, 5 to 7, North does best to pass. Right, so tricky opening lead coming up. There's not an easy opening lead here. Which one would you choose? Specifically, which card out of the 13? From West. Choose a lead. Got to lead something. Lots of different answers coming in, which is not surprising because it's a difficult hand to lead from. I will just give you one get out of free, jail free. Can I just tell you, it's dangerous to lead from a king in trump contracts. Never lead from an ace, that's verboten. But it's also very dangerous to lead a king. So I wouldn't lead the 3 of clubs here. That'd be actually, I'm going to go through with you in a second, the order of preference. Good morning if you're watching in replay. I'm not sure I've said hello to you yet. Hello. Could be afternoon or evening, a big part of our class, of course. What would you lead on this one? Well, let's just go through them. I always do my leads via elimination. I get rid of the worst ones first. The worst one here for me would be the 5 of spades. A singleton trump's a really bad lead. I avoid it like the plague. Often finesses partners 3 to the queen or 4 to the jack or something. Yeah, which is a bad idea because otherwise, if you don't need it, declarer has to find out the bad news themselves. So you end up just finessing partners. So 5 of spades, closely followed by the 3 of clubs. Yep. Leading from a king. It wouldn't give a trick away here, but imagine if declarer had had the ace of clubs and the queen of clubs being in dummy like it is. Declarer had put up the queen of clubs and dummy. You'd never make your king of clubs. Closely followed by the 2 of diamonds. Really not a good lead from 3 to an honor. So we choose a heart, but it's middle, up, down, Stuart, correct. The 7 of hearts would be my choice there. I don't mind the 8 of hearts, high for hate. That might look a bit like a doubleton. But middle, up, down. Not the 3 of hearts, by the way. When you lead, let's just make this clear because leading is difficult. It's low for like. So the 3 of hearts would promise an honor card. Ace, king, queen, jack, or 10. So it's high for hate, tells partner you don't have an honor card, okay? Well, the 7 is more of a high for hate, Lorna, you see. 7's a higher card than the 5, so it's easier for partner to interpret. We'll put in the jack from dummy. And East wins with the queen, as expected. What does East do next? Third player. They've just won the queen of hearts. Which card specifically do they do next? Because middle up down assumptor doesn't apply to an honor card. Middle up down is only with 3 cards with a 9 or less. All right. If you had to lead a diamond, you'd lead the 2, low for like. Okay, there's 12 cards to choose from as East. This is the hand with the ace of hearts and the ace of clubs. Which one should we play? Only one is correct. And if you're watching in replay, have you had a go as well? Well, one thing we mustn't do is play a heart because we want partner to get in. What we really want here is partner to get in and lead a heart through the king. Otherwise, we're just going to give a trick away. If we play the ace of hearts, we're going to give a trick away to the king. So very well done if you played the ace of clubs. Good. Not all of you have done signaling. Probably half the class have and half haven't. It's a lesson coming up in a few weeks' time. But those who've done signaling, you learn new things every day, Caroline. Mud can be 3 or 4 cards or even 5. What signal, what club does West play to say that they like clubs? They want to encourage it, if you like. And remember, it's high encouraging when you signal, low discouraging. Even if you've never done signals before, have a wild guess. Hi, Zena. Hi, Martin. Martin's up the A1. Hi, Caroline. Beetle. There we go. So now, knowing that partner's got the king of clubs, we play another club to the king. We're going through this hand nice and slowly because it's a difficult defensive hand, but it's got some really important principles in. What card specifically, we're being very specific today, does West now play back, having won the king of clubs? Defense, you know, it's somewhat neglected part of the game when it comes to teaching, but it's really important. That's why we do defensive lessons as well every now and again. Because let's face it, you defend half the time. You might as well defend well. And you'll find the people who generally do well in your duplicates are the ones who are good defenders. Because they'll be getting the contract 2 down, and others are only getting it 1 now. Well, remember, it's middle, up, down. So we started with 7 of hearts. Now we play the 8. Okay? Middle, up, down. Can win cheaply with the 10 of hearts and cash the ace. Very smooth defense, that. Let's say they switch to a diamond. Declarer draws trumps and claims the rest, but they are 1 down. First 5 tricks to the opposition there. 3 spades, 1 off. Yes, Sam, but if you haven't done signaling before, it is a lesson coming up on its own soon. But all I'll say is that when you signal, it's high encouraging, low discouraging. So if you have a king or an ace, that's why we signal with a 9 of clubs to promise the king. Yeah, but there is a lesson coming up on that if you haven't done signaling. Yeah, and it's different, Leslie. It's very different. I don't want to get too bogged down in it, but Leslie W. When you lead, it's very different from signaling. It's the other way around. When you lead, opening lead, it's low for like, high for hate. It is confusing. That's why we do a lesson on signaling coming up shortly. Down 1. Yeah, well, hopefully I've saved a bit of confusion, but yeah, if we got, say, a different lead, how would you have played 4 spades, do you think? Just a quick question before we go. Let's say you got a diamond lead, for example, 2 of diamonds. How would you play 4 spades? Just for the more experienced members of the class. Say you got a diamond or a, club lead or something. Any ideas? If you're watching in replay, how would you play 3 spades if you didn't get that killer defense? It's a lesson we did quite recently. Oh, hi, Trish. Nice to see you again after Malta. Good answers coming in for the more experienced members of the class. You would establish diamonds. Yeah, but don't draw trumps first. You play the ace, king of diamonds, and rough 1 high. And then you get those heart losers away. Gold dust, Jane, yeah. Well done if you spotted that. You mustn't draw trumps first. Ace, king of diamonds, and rough a diamond high. Great to have you back in a live class, Trish. Let's go back to the classroom. Let's look at trump leads now. If in doubt, trump about. If you have no decent lead, consider a trump. You don't have to do high-low trumps or middle up down. Just lead a low one. Nice and easy. However, do not lead a singleton trump. Very, very rare to do that. Because often partner will have length in trumps. 3 to the queen. 4 to the queen. You'll end up finessing them for declarer. Thank you very much, says declarer. Well, they wouldn't, because that would be quite rude. And yet, don't lead from an honor, such as Queen XX or Ace X or King XX. That's dangerous as well. But from 2 little cards, 3 little cards, 4 little cards, A trump can be good if you have no suitable alternative. I wouldn't say always lead trumps, of course I wouldn't, but occasionally, if in doubt, trump about. But don't go mad on it. But I suspect you're not leading trumps as much as you should do. Good. Mudleys, we've just looked at those. So only got 3 little cards. Doesn't count if you got an honour like the 10 or the jack. But if you got 9 or less, go middle, up, down. So it does. Problem is, you see, if you have 9, 5, 2, if you start with the 9 and go with the 2, it looks to partners that you've got a doubleton, high-low. Mud is an average lead. Let's take you on to hand 2. On BBO. And defence is the hardest part of the game. But it is something now. Playing bridge a year, some of you have been playing 2 years, some longer. You know that really we should be focusing on more and practicing with your partner over the coming weeks and months when you play bridge. But it is the hardest part of the game. Mainly because you have to concentrate a lot. Now, it's a 1 spade open on the rule of 20 as south. Would West bid anything with their 13 points? They're the overcaller or not? Well, good. Jack's mum will be pleased with you for making a takeout double. Yeah. SOS, 12 or more points. Short in spades. North just bids 2 clubs. South doesn't have to bid now. Only 3 points. It's borderline, but they probably pass. I don't mind 2 hearts, but I think with only 3 points I would pass. South repeats their spades. Well done for remembering the takeout double. Quite a few beginners and improvers forget. What does North now do? Got 13 points. Well, South has repeated the spades to show 6-card suit. And they've got enough points for game 13. So well done, chat box. Surely those watching in replay bid 4 spades. Good. There we go. Normal contract 4 spades. What's the opening lead? From West. Just 1 card is correct, of course. Tricky opening lead. It's not an easy one. Half the time in bridge, you'll have an easy opening lead against trumps. Half the time, you have a tricky one. Are you going to find... There's 2 marks available here. One if you guess the right suit, and a second mark if you guess the right card in that suit. So there's 2 marks available. They'll be upset if you get 0. But well done. The chat box definitely know that it's not right to lead from an ace. So yeah, the cardinal sin here, we'll look at it shortly, just as a reminder, would be to lead away from an ace. Never lead away from an ace in a trump contract. No trumps, it's fine. Often gives away a trick. I just answer Stuart's question. Takeout double, no, it doesn't require a squat, just to be clear, Stuart, no. Just SOS. Well, then let's have the drum roll. I don't have a drum near me. It's the 6 of spades. You don't have to signal high-low when you lead a trump. But I really wouldn't mind the 9 here. It's not going to make much difference in the grand scheme of things. So give yourself, 1 mark. 2 marks if you led the 6, 1 if you got the 9. 1.5 if you played the 9. No, not when it's trumps, Martin, no. Every time else it is, but in the trump suit, you don't have to lead. You just lead a low card. Doesn't make all that much difference. Okay, let's play away. Which card from dummy should we play at trick 2? We're in dummy as North. Trish, that's what keeps us coming back for more in bridge, doesn't it? The exceptions, knowing when to break the rules as well. Yes, we need to try and create a void in dummy. Would you cover with the Queen of Hearts as second player or not? Good. So we're going to try and create a void. Well done. Main time when we don't draw trumps. Would you cover with the Queen of Hearts? Or not? If you're watching in replay, what do you think about that? Well, I would say if in doubt, you should cover an honor with the honor because 2/3 of the time it's right. So you should play the Queen here. If you don't, you see, look what happens. If you make the mistake of playing low, I just let it run, and that has to force out the ace. And suddenly the King of Hearts is a winner. So well done if you covered with the Queen. You got the 10 and the 9 as well. So it does no harm at all in covering the Queen. In fact, it does a lot of good. Am I going to cover with the King of Hearts so as declarer? Can you see into the crystal ball? Also, one thing you can suspect as declarers, when they lead a trump, you must definitely suspect they had a tricky opening lead, which may well mean that they started with the missing aces. Okay? So that's a good bit of detective work. Do I know where the ace of hearts is? The answer is yes, 100%. A, because West led a trump, I suspect they've got the ace of hearts. But B, if East had the ace of hearts, they would have played it, seeing the singleton in dummy. So I actually know 100% that West has the ace of hearts. There's no point me playing the ace. Bad luck if you said cover with the King of Hearts. I might make the King of Hearts later in the day. What does East play now, having won the Queen of Hearts, second player? Oh, hi, Linda from Cambridge. Oh, I don't understand your message, but you're here. She's trying to send something. What? A birthday present for me? East's turn to play. Having won the Queen of Hearts, what do they do? Remember, they can only see the dummy. You knew Linda from Cambridge. Always nice to welcome new students to the class. We're a friendly group. Yeah, very important to come back a trump. Yes. A spade, Martin, yes. Because then we can take that spade off the table and declare it can no longer trump a losing heart. Good defense. Yeah, quite often if partner leads a trump, do them the honor of playing one back. It's often the right thing to do. Oh, new to the live chat box. Great, Linda. Let's try and get back to hand with a club. West is reluctant to play those aces, so it comes... Yeah, those aces really, they still want to hang on. They're best to come back a club. We can now trump a club. No point East playing Gate of Spades. Just going to get over trumped, isn't it? We can draw the last trump. Like that. Now play the King of Diamonds. Which East does best to win with the ace? Yes, assumptor, yes. If you know that declare is going to create a void or has created a void, take those trumps off the table, PDQ. What does West do now, everyone? They just won the ace of diamonds. Which card do they play? Specifically, there's 5 to choose from. So which card does West play now? Having won the ace of diamonds. Instructive hand, this one. I think it's used in replay. I'm almost certain it is. Yes. Remember, all the hands stayed, just word of warning. Not warning, really, but they're all supposed to go at least one down when you play them on BBO later, the 2 set hands. Well, you need one more trick to defeat this contract, because you've taken 3. It'd be a very good move. Play your ace of hearts. Well done, everyone. If you play any other card, declare or make the contract. So you have to play the ace of hearts now. It's the setting trick. Remember a long time ago we did top defenders? Top. T for trick target. We need one more. And we've got the last few tricks, haven't we? Just play them out quickly. So that restaurants. But when the dust has settled, we had dust settling early with the beginners too. It's one down. Nothing wrong with the contract. Against inferior defense, that contract would have made. Really good defense. Trump lead, taking those trumps off the table, and then finally cashing the ace of hearts. Interesting hand, Beetle. And it was interesting in the bidding as well. Remember that takeout double, improvers do sometimes forget to double with those types of hands. Good. Let's get you back into the class, into the slideshow. The bad. Oh, yes, we've had the good, the bad. I wonder where this is kind of ending. That's a gargoyle, looks bad. Avoid the opponent's suits. Simmons leading against no trumps. Yeah, avoid the opponent's suits if you possibly can. I mean, if they bid all 4 suits, sometimes you have to lead their suit, of course. Probably a trump. Sometimes this will mean leading a trump or from a 3-card suit. Caroline's looked up what PDQ means. Yes, it's... Yeah, I probably can't say what it means here, can I, Caroline? But others can look up PDQ. My dad always used to use it, that expression. My dad's still alive, but he doesn't use it anymore. Yeah, Google PDQ if you don't know what it is. It's not that rude, actually. I could say what it was. Let's move on. Avoid doubleton leads. You know, I do get people who lead doubletons of the opponent's suit. It very, very rarely strikes gold. Often set up declarer's suit. It's very old-fashioned to lead a doubleton. Yeah, but if it's unless it's the unbid suit, that's fine. Yeah, I would lead a doubleton of the unbid suit. I wouldn't feel bad about doing that. And it's always top of a doubleton, of course, high-low. You're getting into that habit now, I think, pretty well. High-low when you lead a doubleton. But avoid the opponent's suits. Doubleton honor leads, they're even worse. Ace X, King X, Queen X, Jack X, they all give away tricks most of the time. There was a lady I used to teach near Pickering, said, I always lead ace doubleton. My partner's always got the king. And I said, well, get back to me when they don't have the king. But if you knew your partner's always had the king, it'd be a great lead, but I'm afraid partners don't. I used to lead ace doubletons in my youth, but soon realized in my wisdom that it wasn't a good one. Let's go to hand 3 on BBO. Where is it? There it is. Yes, do we open 1 spade or 1 heart on the south hand? 5-5. Yes, pretty damn quick. It's not exactly rude, is it, Hiccup? No. Unlike me, yes, I don't know. Must be feeling strange. Unlike me to be so coy, you're right. Pretty damn quick. PDQ, it's a good one. Haven't used it for ages. There's the clue. High fives. My brother, when he used to teach at the Bridge Club in London, used to stand on the chair and give the whole classroom a high five. But I can't do that now because of health and safety. Also, I'm about 30 years older than when he was back then. Pass from... It's high fives, Les. Always high fives. I think, Les, you might be thinking about 4 hearts and 4 spades. That's when you open a heart, the exception. West has to pass because they're not short in spades. What does North bid now with their 11 points? Over to you. You're watching in replay. What would you bid with the North hand? Oh, good. Well, that's handy, Lorna. We did this just last week, didn't we? Responders first bid, or first responders, we sometimes call it. Some of you might be first responders. Yeah, it's a new season of bridge. Really happy to be introducing the beginners to a new game. As cheapest as 4s. Some of you bid 2 hearts. That was naughty. Cheapest of 4s for responder. Yes, community service. Bridge prison is full, but community service if you bid 2 hearts. Also, it does show a 5-card suit as well. We discussed that recently. North, what do they do next? Are you bidding 3 hearts or 4 hearts? We haven't quite got enough for game, actually. Remember, South's only promising 12 points, so you should be bidding 3 hearts here. Yeah, not 4. That's ambitious. I mean, I admire your ambition, but it's not right. Partner might only have 12 points as South. 3 hearts, Eileen. Yes, Eileen's from York. 10 to 12 points. And clearly South opens, raises to game. Opening lead, over to you. Oh, clear to bid 4 hearts, Caroline, yes, with 14 points and a singleton, yeah. Opening lead. Not too tricky, this one, I would say. The defense is going to be harder. But yeah, unbid suit is diamonds. It's clear to lead the king, isn't it? Good. Second choice would be the 2 of hearts, but clear to make an attacking lead of the king of diamonds there. Right. Well, let's see how we get on with the play. So winning with the ace. Over to hand. What card should we play as declarer? Let's turn ourselves into declarer for a minute. What card should we play as declarer, do you think, now? Specifically, just come back to hand with the Jack of Hearts. Should we draw the trumps now or something else? Give you a moment to think about it. Those in replay, which card should we play specifically? The clue is that we need to try and catch the defense out here. If you're going to try and catch the defense out, it's best to do it straight away. So what we're going to try and do is play the 7 of clubs. And as West, would you go second player play low with the 2, or would you rise with the ace of clubs? It's not always second player play low. And remember that 7 of clubs is very likely to be a singleton, given that North has shown at least 5-4 in the majors. Good. So ace of clubs. Good start for the defense. Right. So they cash their queen of diamonds. Noting the fall of the jack. It's not always right to rise with the ace there, but I think it was very likely that declarer had a singleton club there. Right, so defense need 2 more tricks. What are they going to do next, having cashed the Queen of Diamonds? Plan the defense as West. Just whilst you're planning the defense, Monday we're having a review for the intermediates. If you want some quick fire question and answers, reviewing the 5 weeks with the intermediates at 9:30 on Monday. They've done coping with intervention, responders first bid. Oh, sorry, they did responders first bid. Drawing trumps or not. Relatively easy topics for Monday for you. And some duplicate pair strategy as well. And then a week's time today, we're doing a review of week 2s, which I think is overdue. Well, let's examine Declarer's shape. We know they've got 5 spades and 4 hearts. So the problem is, if you take the ace of spades, that'll be the last trick you get. Okay, so this would be a mistake to take the ace of spades. Look, you win it, but now Declarer makes the king of spades, and the 3 losing spades go on the king, queen, jack of clubs. So this was quite hard. So given that the ace of spades is incorrect, I tell you why it's hard. Because Declarer's got, you have to think back to the bidding. And if you look back to the bidding here, click on 4 hearts south, I've just done. You know that Declarer's got 5 spades. And then they can only get rid of 3 of them on the king, queen, jack of clubs. Do you see where I'm coming from? So that's why nearly everyone said ace of spades. It's incorrect. You'll give Declarer the king. What do you do instead, do you think? I wouldn't say doze, Stuart. No, because nearly everyone played the ace of spades, not just you. Not the 2 of spades. No, we have to leave the spades. The key thing is going back to the beginning, knowing that Declarer started with 5 spades. They can't get rid of them all on the king, queen, jack of clubs. So anything, actually, a trump, a diamond, a club, let's say a diamond, anything but a spade. We draw the last trump as Declarer. Over, important for West to keep spades, by the way, over to the 9 of hearts. We can take our discards, look. There goes 1 spade. There goes a 2nd spade. There goes a 3rd spade. But look, we can't get rid of them all. Jack of spades. Should East cover with the queen? Yes or no? Maybe doesn't really help. If you're watching in replay, would you cover with the queen of spades? Remember, you can only see the dummy. Quite tricky defensive hands, these. But I think it just, hopefully over coming weeks and months, will get you thinking more about the dummy, perhaps what Declarer's bid, things like this. 100% cover. If you don't cover, look what happens. If you make the mistake of not covering, West wins with the ace of spades, and you make the king and the contract. So it was essential to cover. My advice really, as I said earlier with covering, is if you're unsure, cover an honor with an honor. Most of the time it's right, 2/3 of the time. Because you've now, you see, successfully promoted partner's 10 of spades into a winner for 1 down. Quite an interesting hand, that one. Really had to think about that decision when you got in with the diamond. Very tempting to play the ace of spades, but it would have given Declarer the contract. As it was, Declarer could only get rid of 3 of those losing spades and had to lose the last 2 tricks. Shows you how interesting defense is, isn't it? Going back to the bidding, trying to work out Declarer's shape. It's hard to do, but if we start doing it, it's, just getting it used to it, eventually it will become easier. Right, let's go back to the classroom. Yeah, avoid leading from a lone on. It often gives a trick away. 4 to the jack or 4 to the queen. Sometimes though you may have no other choice, in which case you lead the 4th highest. Yeah, but often gives a trick away. It's not a lead I particularly like, from 4 to the jack, 4 to the queen. Also, no trumps, I don't like it. I sometimes lead from a 3-card suit instead. Avoid leading an ace without a king. This often gives a trick, so do not lead an ace without the king, but there's 2 notable exceptions. Can you just tell me, 2 marks available here, can you tell me when you might lead an ace without the king? I can think of 2 situations, apart from a singleton ace. Singleton ace is a good lead. So can you tell me, if you're watching live or in replay, you can teleport it to me, when it's okay to lead an ace without the king? I can think of 2 times. 2 marks available. Some good answers coming in. But I might just say no, not when 6. I wouldn't lead an ace against 6 no trumps. No. Unless I had the king as well. But no, 6 no trumps I wouldn't. I'd make a very safe lead against 6 no trumps. That's in our no trump tricky lead lesson. Should we have a look at the answer? Well done, actually. Good answers coming in. So if partners bid the suit, you should lead the ace without the king. And secondly, against a small slam in a suit, such as 6 hearts, make an attacking lead. It's fine to lead an ace. So they're the 2 exceptions there. Well done if you got both of those right. And of course, singleton ace kind of goes without saying. That's a good lead. Avoid leading from a king. I've told you about that earlier in trumps. Fine in no trumps, but often give a trick away. Never lead away from this. Try not to lead from a king. Thing is, you see, if you wrongly lead the 2 of hearts here against 4 spades, declare it wisely puts up the queen of hearts, and you never make your king. Okay? There was a player, Tony Forrester. I think he's England's most capped player. He never leads from a king. He really hates it. Wouldn't quite go as far as never, but try and avoid it if you can. Very dangerous. Oh yeah, and declare might have had the ace and the queen as well, which would be equally as dangerous. So avoid from a king. You can see from this lesson, it really is quite an art, the opening lead, isn't it? I love the opening lead. See, it's such a challenge and so pleasing when you get it right. Quite annoying when you get it wrong. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I do apologize if that dog is your favorite little pooch, but I just thought there's the teeth did it for me. That dog is gorgeous, says Alison. Yeah. Yes, we've all got our own opinions. Should we move along? So what would your lead be here, do you think, as West against 4 spades? What do we lead against 4 spades? Tricky opening lead. Specifically, which one? Very exciting. 3 or 4 weeks time, we're doing transfer bids for the first time with the improvers. Some of you have done them before. Yes, let's not hang around too long. Hang on. Yes, the 7 of hearts is the right answer there. Just before we'll look at that in just a second. Never lead away from an ace. I think we're pretty good on that now. Often gives a trick away. Sometimes known as Yeah, it's a tricky expression to understand and for me to explain. I think we've done a fair bit on it in previous lessons, but it's also known as never underlead an ace or never lead a suit headed by just an ace. Ace king's obviously fine. So on this example here, you see, if you led the 2 of diamonds, coming back to that previous slide, against 4 spades, declare a singleton king would win. Draw trumps and make loads of tricks. Well, make the contract. So never lead from an A. 2 of diamonds, you see, gives a trick. Even if declared had king X of diamonds, still gives a trick away. So lead a middle up down heart. 7 of hearts is perfect. And the contract goes 1 down. They take the first 4 tricks on the 7 of hearts lead. As I've just said. Let's play hand 4 on BBO. We've got 10 minutes left. Where are we? Yeah, some fun defensive hands today. So it's 1 club opener. North. East nowhere near strong enough to bid. 1 spade from south. What number of spades does North bid now? What number of spades does opener bid? Yes, with 16 points, we jump to 3 spades. Don't make the mistake of just bidding 2 spades here. That's only 12 to 15 points. So 3 spades, not quite strong enough to go to 4 with 16 points. And 6 losing tricks. Those who've done losing trick count, we're not quite strong enough to bid 4. So 3 spades does the trick. And south clearly bids on to 4. And what's our opening lead from west? Try not to look at the other hands, just look at the west hand. What do you lead, singleton, club, or ace of diamonds? Caroline, I believe you. So the chat box recommend the ace of diamonds, of course, known as Jack's favourite lead in North Yorkshire, parts of Lincolnshire, and universally online. Ace from ace king. Sarah's got a question. It's useful for the class. What is the difference between an attacking lead and a defending lead? Well, we would say attacking or probably a passive lead, we'd say, which would be a safe lead. So an attacking lead is your ace from ace king, king from king, queen, singleton. A passive lead would be something that really we look at safety, Sarah. Like a trump lead would be very passive. Right, let's see what happens. Might as well take the king. Now then, try just to look at the dummy as west and not partner's hand east. So just focus, you're all sitting there as east. You've laid down the ace king of diamonds, and now you look at the dummy. What would you switch to? Clearly it's not right to play another diamond. Having played the ace king of diamonds, looking just at the dummy, trying to block out partner's hand. And it's not easy. There are just a few times when I teach where sometimes I'd like to hide one of the hands. If you're being honest, at the table, would you play the 4 of clubs or a singleton or a trump, or would you play a heart? I know you're an honest lot. Trump is quite dangerous from Jack XX. I think we do need to be attacking here, is what I would say, because those clubs are very strong. And they really, I have to tell you, playing a singleton here is not going to work because you can see the ace king in the dummy. And de Clare clearly must have some points in the trump. So really, the likelihood of getting partner in to play a club back to you is very, very low. So, and the clubs are very strong, you see. You do need to make an attacking lead here to try and take your tricks early. So you've got 3 seconds to change your mind. I mean, if dummy had, didn't have the ace of clubs, then yes, maybe a club would be fine. But you can see the ace of king of clubs in dummy. You need your partner really to have the ace of spades, which is, a long shot. So for that reason, we go high for 8 heart. De Clare does best to play low, but East wins with the queen and cashes their ace of hearts. Now switches to a trump. Probably switches to a club, actually. De Clare draws trumps. Yeah. So we draw trumps now as de Clare and claim the rest. Okay. So we'll just do that. But the contract is 1 down. But this was Sarah was just asking me about attacking and a passive defense. This is a defense where we had to be very attacking because the clubs are very strong. If you didn't switch to a heart, then de Clare simply draws trumps and the losing, 2 losing hearts go away. So they make their contract. Was tricky, that one. Yeah, to switch to a heart. But that's why ace king is such a good lead. You don't always have to switch to the singleton if dummy's got the ace. Okay, let's go back to the classroom. 11:57 UK time. If you remember just 3 things from this lesson: never lead away from an ace against a trump contract. Fine in no trumps. Secondly, try not to lead from a king either. Yeah, it's not a never situation. I think sometimes I might, but try and avoid it. And finally, if in doubt, trump about. I expect you're not leading trumps as much as you should. I mean, don't go crazy with leading trumps, but every now and again, it can be a really useful lead. Doesn't give anything away. That would be known as a passive defense or safe. You're not going to make tricks from leading a trumps, but you're not going to give anything away. But avoid that singleton trump. And don't lead from an honor card. Good. Well, hopefully that's sharpened up your defensive skills. Some quite tricky defensive hands there today, but it just shows you how rewarding defense can be. Now, where's Mary Ellen up to?
Oh, I'm here.
You're never far away, Mary Ellen.
I never am. I'm always in the background.
Good. And were you paying attention?
I am, usually. Except for coffee. I leave for coffee sometimes.
Well, of course, we forget that is it 8 o'clock with you now? Or?
It is only 7 o'clock right now. 10 minutes to 7.
7 in the morning. Gosh.
It's a little early, yeah.
Yes, well done. It's it's appreciated you getting up so early.
But I it's worth it because I always learn something, and it's always a good class.
Well, thank you for saying that. And actually, just reading through the comments coming through, everyone, a lot of people saying thank you.
Yes.
Jane Duggleby says she's an auctioneer, Jane Duggleby. So she said it's hard not to bid too high. Yeah,
so true. You get carried away.
Yeah.
I do.
Time has gone quickly, saying Eileen. Oh, that's good. That means it was fun.
Oh, thank you, Misty.
Misty's on board. Yeah, no, it's as you see, defense is the hardest part of the game, Mary Ellen. Do you find it hard? I find it very hard, and I don't pay attention to it as much as I should. So this lesson was so good for me. Yeah. I know a couple rules about leading, but I don't know as much as I should. So this was really helpful. Yes. And of course, leading is something that's not affected by you playing the American bidding system. Right. But what I will say is really, it is difficult defense. And for the first year or two of our learning, we concentrate mainly as bridge players as the bidding, how to play the cards. So defense really kicks in, a little bit later. When you're confident with the bidding, you're reasonably good at declare a play.
Right. I totally forgot about mud, that one lead, and then when I read that, I thought, oh, because I didn't think of that.
As I joke, Mary Ellen, some people think it's as clear as mud.
It's true.
Well, we did a fair bit on mud today, which is good. I mean, it doesn't come up very often, mud, but when it does, middle, up, down.
Yep.
It's an average lead, but again, it's like a safe lead. It doesn't give too much away.
Right.
A lot of really leading is not giving too much away, not leading away from an ace, avoiding that.
That's so true. And I never really knew that until your class, because I would often lead away from an ace.
Yeah.
So
Cardinal Sin, Mary, if you do it again, you're going to get 5 years in Bridge prison. I'm going to come over to Florida and extradite you.
So true. Yes, I know.
Yeah. I'll come via Bashir in Japan, say hello to him, and then I'll come to Florida and then extradite you back to England for Bridge prison.
Yeah. Well, the weather's been really nice here, so.
Oh, well, lucky. Yeah, well, you made a good choice going down there. As you know, it's been really, really wet here.
That's what everyone's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. And actually, I was just driving down one of our main roads, the A1, at the weekend, and that was closed for like 10 miles because of flooding.
Really? Wow.
We had to divert off, which was a bit annoying, but it's not as annoying as having your house flooded.
Oh yeah, right.
Horrible.
Terrible.
Well, Mary Ellen, I'm feeling a little bit tired. I've done my 2 hours today. You
rest, have lunch, and recharge for next week.
Yeah. I'm just going into town. I've got a parcel to pay, so I'm going to have a nice walk in town, get a bit of fresh air.
Nice.
And next week, just to remind everyone, Mary Ellen, it's week 2. It's revision. Week 2. We're doing revision on week 2.
Oh, perfect. Yes, for next week.
So that'll be good.
Wonderful.
Sarah's saying, should different bidding systems arrive at the same contract? Yes, they normally do, Sarah. Yeah, they normally do. Martin missed a few points first time. Remember, that's good, Martin. Yeah, it's difficult, that defense, especially, when you lead low for like, high for hate. It's quite difficult.
I think we had very few issues with people logging in, so everything seems to be going very well.
The system's working well, Miriam. That's good. The occasional gremlin is thrown. Thank you, Beetle, Caroline, Francis, Sarah, Misty, everyone else for your company. We'll be here the same time next week for some week 2 revision.
Perfect. All right. Well, you relax, have a good lunch, and thank you, everyone. We will see you next time.